In my day, the police, they used to go around to all the gardens in the city and they'd just go over and fill them if they were cold, if they were dead. They used to just cover themselves with newspaper. And we were no different for the ones that had homes to the ones that were out on the street. That's why I say I was one of the lucky ones. I was taken in and people helped me. When I married my husband, well, he came out of the priesthood and I thought, wow, he's a man, you know, that I'll be able to trust, I'll be able to make a good life with. And he was about 8 years older than me, so he was ready to settle down and have a family. You know, business was looking up, we were making money. I don't know, things were great, everything was going along good, and then my husband decided that he didn't want me anymore. Then I got very ill, I got very sick, I got cancer. And the doctor, with everything that was going on with my husband and the business and everything like that, told me to leave. Once I left my husband, then my life started to change. It was facing up to being on my own and losing the kids that I guess I tried to drown my sorrows. I had the poor old me's, the pity me. Why me? Why did this all happen to me? And instead of taking control of things, I let the alcohol take control of me. Because I could remember laying in bed at home. I was down in the bungalow and my son came to see me. He said, what's wrong with you, Mum? I told him to go away. I said, I can't talk, I'm not well. And he said, oh, just a moment. And he went out and he got a tape measure. And he said, Mum, I want you to lie straight in the bed. And I said, what for? He said, I'm going to build you a present. And I said, well, what do you want? And he said, I want you to get up out of this bed. I said, I'm not getting out of bed. Anyhow, he said, lay straight. And he said, now, Mum, cross your arms. And I said, what do you want me to cross my arms for? He said, well, you're not going to make 43. And Kevin and I, both my sons are carpenters. He said, we've ordered the material's outside. We're building your coffin for you. He said, because you haven't got long to go. And I looked out, I jumped out of that bed when he was measuring me for my coffin. And the timber was right outside the door. I got to the stage where I was having about 8 showers a day. The alcohol was coming out of my system and I couldn't stand. And I can remember screaming out to God this day, please, I'm so sick of being sick, what's wrong with me? And from that day on, my life started to change. I went into hospital. I guess it took me about 2 years for the fog to lift. Going back maybe about, at least 30 years ago, I met Az's. I had a small bungalow for rent, and Az's turned up and he came to live with us. And I never really had much to do with him at those stages when he was living there. It wasn't until my marriage broke up and I came back to live in Essendon. And Az's by that time had his own home. And I was walking up the hill this particular day. He picked me up and he asked me why I was down here. And I told him. And he told me he was getting married and bringing his wife here to Australia. And that's when I started to meet Victoria. And it was like she came into my life when I was coming out of the fog.
Benji, come on girl, come on, let's go for a walk. Walk, come on.
At that particular time when I first met Victoria, I had to go to an AA meeting. And I used to take Victoria with me. I thought, well, Victoria doesn't know what's going on. I don't have to explain anything to her. But unbeknownst to me, that's where she was learning all her English. You know, because it was, you go to your AA meetings, you'd have to get up and talk. And it was quite a hilarious one because they were always picking her to come out and talk. I used to say, just say no, just no. And then when she had Alexandra, I wanted to finish the relationship. I didn't want anything to do with her. I thought it would be too hard as a little child, and I was struggling. And so I went to see my doctor, and he said to me, now listen, Faye, what does that child want from you? Absolutely nothing. You've got a wall up in front of you. You won't let anybody come through that wall. But when she came along and she was helpless, and she was beautiful. It just turned me around. My whole life turned around.
Did you finish the small one?
What small? Oh, I had to make a small dog. Yeah, no, I haven't done it yet. I know her as my nana more than my actual nana in Egypt, so she's always been there for me. She actually used to live down the street from here. I used to love that. I always used to go down to her house. Even when I had a fight with my parents, I used to go down crying, and she used to take care of me and let me sleep over and make me a cup of tea. She's always been on my side as well.
These are my photos. Oh. So I have to write on them for my project.
Oh, when is your project going to be?
Well, apparently it's due in 2 weeks or something, but we're ready by tomorrow because there's this.
I didn't know how to love. I was the perfect mother from the outside, everything perfect, businesswoman, the whole works. But I'll never forget my daughter it was about 10 years ago. And she said to me, you know what, Mum? She said, you gave us everything, but you didn't know how to love us. And I think that's why I loved Alexandra so much, because she broke down the barriers. The whole family's accepted me back.
It's strange as well because it's almost like she's sometimes closer to us than her other family.
Okay.
And sometimes I can always feel like there's a bit of jealousy going on.
Well, I'd lost so much in my life. I'd lost my family, and it was all taken away from me. So, but then I got another family, and it slowly started to change me. It didn't take weeks, it took years. I'll have to go and get a glass of water. You be a good girl, or do you want to come in and have a sleep? No? You know, we can only live to 14, she's 16. So she's doing well. Yeah, she gets a bit clingy, you know? Come on, come.